And I'm strolling through Moscow.
Moscow, the city with the most billionaires in Europe. According to Forbes, around 90% of the super rich live here. But where do they live? Where does the Russian elite shop? And in which neighborhoods do they party and spend millions? That's exactly what I wanted to find out. That's why I explored Moscow for several days and visited the 4 most exclusive and expensive areas of the city for you.
Welcome to the world of the super rich. Follow me.
So friends, you heard it. Today we're going to take a look at how the rich and beautiful live here in the Russian capital, Moscow. Our journey starts at the Kremlin and first takes us to one of the most exclusive residential areas in the entire capital. And to get there, we're not taking the subway or just any taxi like the common rebel. We're taking a luxury taxi. The thing is, guys, you have a taxi app here in Russia where you can book different levels, and I'll show you the different taxi levels now. The first rate is economy, costs about 12 euros. Then comfort, a bit more expensive. Comfort plus, business, premier. And then comes the absolute top class, which is what the richest of the rich ride here, and that's elite. And you see, elite costs almost 26 euros. That means you pay 3 times as much for the same ride. But instead of a Volvo, you get a Rolls-Royce, a Bentley, a Maybach. It's a bit of a lottery what you get. But now we're booking this elite class. We're spending our money for you and seeing what we get. Let's go. Hello. Okay, we are now here in this S-Class. What do you say, first impression? Nice. Of course, you have a bit more space than I do, right? Mm-hmm. It's always like that on the right in the back, yeah? But I mean, at the end of the day, we're paying 3 times as much, I'd say. If you have the money, let's say you're a millionaire, then I think, why not? 25 euros for a 20-minute ride. Above all, there are probably drivers who are a bit more skilled, who maybe drive more relaxed or something, although right now it doesn't really seem that way. But the drivers often have 10 years of driving experience. I'll give you a tour now, guys. Just look at this legroom here. That's just part of it. A complimentary bottle of water. In theory, you can watch your movie here. You can get a massage or what? Or air conditioning. I don't see it here. Where do you put the records on? Water for you, please. Ah, okay, thank you. So it comes moderately. Right? May I ask, what kind of guests usually use such a luxurious car?
Famous people, unusual people. There's no such thing as just one type of person staying here.
I see. So, there's also a sunroof here and a very nice driver who tells us we can film everything, and that's how it is, guys. Now you've gotten enough of an inside look. You can charge your iPhones here, so I can definitely recommend it. Who uses these kinds of taxis? I actually asked them that too. I don't know if you could hear it because of the microphones. So, famous people use this for weddings. Businessleute, business people use it every day. So the clientele is really mixed. But basically, yeah, definitely people who have money, right? So now we drove in the Maybach to one of the most exclusive areas of Moscow, not far from the Moscow city business district. The area is right on the banks of the Moskva River and is known as Chelypika, Naberezhnaya, a modern, upscale residential area for the super rich. So friends, I've now arrived at one of the most exclusive residential areas in all of Moscow. Only wealthy people really live here. It's an incredibly beautiful neighborhood. And we're going to explore it together now. So I think, friends, you understand why I wanted to show you this area. It has the advantages of New York. You can relax, it's very stylish. There are very exclusive residential buildings. There's no trash, so it's beautiful here. But you don't have the downsides of New York. There are no fentanyl zombies, there's no trash, there's no danger. So it's very safe in this area, and it's also one of the trendiest neighborhoods in Moscow. So no matter which Muscovite you ask, they'll know this area. And I think for many, it's also a dream to live here. But it's very expensive. I keep making this comparison to New York simply because I think it's obvious. You have these skyscrapers. Yeah, that's how I imagine New York. Comment if you've been there before. Are there similarities like that, or am I just imagining it? I also think it's cool that you have all these sports facilities here. So here for cyclists, here for joggers, or how should I put it? And it's also very lively, so it's a great area. I write all the locations you need to visit in the video description. Who knows, maybe one day you'll be in Moscow and want to check it all out yourself. That's why everything is in the video description. Guys, those guys have the same camera as I do. Let me show you. Hello. With the same camera, right? Is this your first time using it? Yes. This area, you have this metro station here. Well, good choice. In the water. Because you have You simply pay 70 cents with your regular metro card and can travel from the city center to this area. Yes, guys, right in the middle of the water. You can also see it in the distance. Back there, you can see one of those water taxis taking people from one place to another. And yes, that means the entire river is basically connected and you can get transported around. When you look around here, you naturally wonder how people achieve this kind of lifestyle. Of course, it takes a lot. But one thing is certain. If you want to build wealth, you shouldn't give money away. Especially not when it comes to taxes. And that's exactly where today's video partner comes in, Zasta. Many people think that after the deadline of July 31st, the tax return is done and you no longer have a chance to submit anything. But that's actually not true. Different deadlines apply for tax advisors. That means with Zasta's partner tax advisors, you can still submit your tax return now. And it's also possible to submit everything retroactively for up to 4 years. The whole process is really straightforward. You register in about 3 minutes, provide your name, address and a tax ID, and first issue a power of attorney. After that, the tax advisors take over all the work and check for free whether you are entitled to any money. And it's worth it. 9 out of 10 people get money back, on average around 1,240 euros. So it's definitely enough money to pay off a big bill you might have, or even take a cool trip, for example, to the Eastern Bloc, like I do, so it's definitely worth it. So before you just leave money with the government, check the first link in the video description, use my code FIN-20 for a 20 euro discount, and check for free if you're eligible for a refund. Thanks to Zasta, and let's continue to the next luxury district. From the residential area, we moved on to Patriarch's Pond, one of the most exclusive, trendy neighborhoods in the capital. Around the small pond, there are a handful of streets that have been known for years as a meeting place for the beautiful and the rich. Roll the footage. The street I'm about to walk on is called Naberezhnaya, and it's kind of the infamous street, when it comes to the party scene and expensive restaurants. So we're slowly starting to film here. We're not completely there yet, but you can see it's already starting here, a Porsche. The next car is a Chinese car, which is very common here in Moscow. Of course, I probably still edit the video from time to time, but you can see the first 2 girls are coming towards us and they're also dressed up nicely. Anyway, I will still do some editing, but I want to walk around here with you in a less edited way and share my impressions. Here's a Trabus. Mercedes. Porsche. Yeah, I don't want to keep pointing out all the cars to you, but it's really noticeable, right? Especially the G-Class here in this region. Yeah. You can tell, you can kind of feel the Patricky vibe here. The Patriarch's Pond is maybe like the Kö in Düsseldorf, where people want to show off. That's how it is here. Let's see. Bugatti, guys. How often do you see a Bugatti in your life? A Chiron, or what is it? Guys, a Bugatti. And a wow. You can see the ladies are all dressed very elegantly, in dresses. Restaurants are also full here. Less going on than I thought. On a Saturday evening, but alright. A lot of these Chinese cars are Ferrari. The highlight of this street so far, the Bugatti. Well, I think I've seen a real Bugatti like that maybe once in Dubai, but never in any other city. So far. But I'm not really a car fan, so it's nothing special in that sense, but it's definitely cool to see. Let's cross to the other side of the street. Everything here is kind of along the side of the road. You can sit down here and relax. So notice how many Chinese cars there are. Now I'm not going to say much. I mean, sometimes I just want you to let a few impressions sink in. yeah, there isn't much you can say about it either. Look at the people, see what impression they make on you, what kind of area this is. Now I show you something interesting, why this area got its name. Right in front of me you can see the Patriarch's pond. And exactly, this is the heart of the neighborhood. And right around this pond, yes, the rents are among the highest. I have a friend who lives in one of these buildings, for example. And that's how I know that the rents really aren't cheap and are pretty steep. That means, so now I've shown you that as well, right here by the pond. These apartments are probably the most expensive thing you can buy or rent, I guess. But I think it's much more subtle here than on Naberezhnaya Street. No cars. Just a place to take a walk, kind of. But I think it's pretty cool that there's this highlight here, this illuminated building. Now we're going to walk down here one last time. That was a little compilation of the things I see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what surprised me just now.
And even in the last half hour, I think it's already filled up a bit. Maybe it just seems that way to me. So the later it gets, even if it's only a half-hour difference, the streets fill up. And yeah, just look at the stores. There's fancy perfume here. There's another store coming up. Wieder fancy cosmetics. That's not. Here, thanks. To go partying.
Thank you very much.
But you also see the shops, so I want to point out that every shop here has its own very special touch. So if you think Russia is a poor country and then walk along here, you definitely get a different feeling at first. So this is really a bubble. Moscow itself is a bubble. I need more money in Moscow than in any major German city, even in Munich. If I were to rent an apartment in Munich, it would be cheaper than here in the center of Moscow. That's really crazy, guys. But of course, you can also live outside and so on. There are definitely options, but yeah. And no, guys, like I said, living here is more expensive than in Munich and elsewhere. I don't live here, so how can I still judge that? I'm here on a filming trip and I've been in Moscow for 2 or 3 weeks now. And I think in that amount of time, you can definitely get a feel for what the prices are like. And in the past few years, I've been here from time to time and you really do get a good sense of things. So no, I don't live in Russia, just because some people seem to think that for some reason. Well, but I have to say, hats off in my opinion. People here are generally very stylish, and I don't find that in many cities. Not just here on the street, but in general, the people are well dressed. I'm not like that myself. I would say I'm a very unstylish person. So in Moscow, I might stand out in a negative way in that sense, but it's really good here, everywhere.
That's a good thing.
The art of, but you can also see the young people here. It's not just older people who can afford it. So basically the restaurants are still affordable. Feel free to write in the comments how you like the area. I only wear sunglasses even though it's almost dark, because they have my prescription on them. Otherwise, I can hardly see anything. Better to see dark than nothing at all. So that was Naberezhnaya at Patriarch's Pond. And yeah, you've now seen that kind of residential area too. But of course, it's not over yet. It goes on. The next day, we went to Luzhniki Stadium. The stadium is located in the south of Moscow and is now known as one of the favorite spots of the super rich. Welcome everyone to Luzhniki.
Already.
This place is really an absolute top recommendation, guys, because it's not just for the kids. All the kids are playing in the water, it's like a public pool, but there are also enough restaurants, enough bars and leisure activities for adults. So here you have cool leisure options for both kids and adults. And as you can see from the clientele, like I said, the place is a bit more exclusive. People are dressed very stylishly. That definitely stands out, guys. It's really interesting to see how different the cultures are between Germany and Russia. Here you would probably call almost every woman pretty extravagant if she walked around like that in Germany. Long, beautiful dresses, high heels, But at least here in the park, that's completely normal. I definitely have to say, Moscow is one of the most varied cities I've ever seen in my life. This is my first time here in the summer, and that's when you really notice what the city has to offer. But at the same time, it's also one of the most expensive cities I've ever been to. Well, yeah, Paris is similarly expensive, but otherwise I've never been to a city that's this expensive. I'd even say that in St. Petersburg, you pay only a third of what you have to pay in Moscow for daily life. Of course, it's really cool to have a sports complex like this, especially with these gondolas and the ski jump in winter. And in the summer, yeah, the arena, the soccer games, the pool. So whether it's winter or summer, there's always something going on here. Here you can see, for example, guys, an ice cream shop. How much does a scoop of ice cream cost here? It's on the poster. A scoop of ice cream costs 5 euros. And do you understand what I mean when I say Moscow is expensive? 5 euros for a scoop of ice cream. You wouldn't pay that in any big city in Germany. And it's the same with other things. No matter where you go, no matter where you eat these days, if it's not fast food, you have to pay 20 euros. I think that's like Munich prices. It's definitely cool to show you all the places here in Moscow. That will happen in a few days. Yeah, it's really cool. I saved the absolute highlight for the final day. We left the city center and went into Yeroblevka, the district of the oligarchs. However, the whole area is a gated community, which means all these mega mansions are of course hidden behind huge fences. At the beginning of the region, however, there's a neighborhood called Bavicha. There's a luxury village there that's open to everyone. We've arrived now, friends. Welcome to Bavicha, luxury. A village. Luxury outlet, and not just any, but Russia's luxury outlet. So it doesn't get more expensive than this. Let's take a look together what kind of life there is here in this outlet. One thing has to be said, it's surprisingly quiet. Sure, it's during the week, but still, I feel like I'm the only one here. So, what's the heart of this outlet? Of course, luxury brands and especially luxury clothing. Here you can find Yves Saint Laurent. Here you can find Dolce & Gabbana. Here you can find Balmain, however you pronounce it. So despite sanctions, even if many brands aren't as present downtown anymore, the richest of the rich still need access somewhere, of course. And you have that here. Honestly, it doesn't end. Cucinelli, Valentino, Graf, yes. Everything your heart desires. But there aren't any visitors here. I really think there isn't a single store here for ordinary people. There's not even an H&M mixed in or anything more affordable. Everything here is super modern, super luxurious, I mean. There are also a few car dealerships here. And yes, of course, it has to be the highest level of luxury there as well. For example, here's the Bentley dealership. And there we can already see a baby blue Bentley. Hey. So this is how rich Russians drive through Moscow. Take a look at this, guys. What a beautiful leather interior. Continental GT. I'm actually not a car enthusiast, but when you see something like this, it's definitely stylish. But there are no prices displayed. The only strange thing, there isn't a single employee in the store. I'm currently walking alone through a Bentley store with no one else around. You can see it, not a soul here. The second dealership you have here is a Ferrari dealership. At the end there's the parking lot again, from Maybach all the way to Aston Martin, all the way to BMW, Mercedes. So even just looking at the fleet here, you can tell what kind of place this is. You can check out the cars parked here yourself. There are definitely some interesting guests. And these guests live here at Bavicha. Spa, Hotel Spa, so there's also a hotel here for the shopping enthusiasts. Let's take a quick look inside to see what the lobby looks like. Very stylish, guys. Such a simple black design. Nice. Well, you have to admit the place itself is pretty unspectacular. A luxury outlet. But I think it's interesting to see that, yeah, no matter how many sanctions, no matter how many restrictions, There will always be luxury brands. The demand is there. We are here in Yeroblevka, the oligarch's villa area, which is of course heavily gated. But yes, it's interesting to see that you're actually in the middle of nowhere. We're an hour and a half outside the center by train. That they build something like this in the middle of nowhere, right? It's pretty crazy to see. So they've basically gotten their own playground here. So that's it from the outlet. I'll be honest with you guys, it's really not worth coming here. An hour and a half outside, no regular price stores, almost nothing going on. I felt like I was one of 10 guests, if that. And yeah, unless you really want to shop here at expensive brands, but then I think, like in Russia, here it's probably going to be even a bit more expensive than anywhere else in the world. And yeah, guys, those were four places for the super rich. 4 places that are extremely exclusive, where it's the most expensive to live, where it's the most expensive to shop. You saw everything in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to the channel, guys, so that we reach 200,000 subscribers. And yeah, see you again soon. Until then, bye. Ciao.